This is Yusef here, and I didn't, well, I wasn't planning on making this video at all, but I have to, because I was watching more of this Douglas Murray character. When I find people like this, this is the guy that I talked about in the video before. When I see people like this, it's interesting to watch these people who I disagree with in almost every way, on almost every topic, and and is why when I see so many people like this, with all their different views, and I sympathize with atheists completely. I don't know what more I can say, but the comment section even got worse. So there's 4 comments on this page, or on this thing, and you can look at it. It's Ask Doug, what theologians have influenced you in your relation to federal vision. I have no idea what federal vision is. It's just one of those Protestant words, I guess. He said the main one was John Calvin. John Calvin being a murdering psychopath. But let's address the comments on here. Okay. So, and there's one user by the name of One Who Comes Down who left a comment. And he left it 8 months ago, but I responded. I said, he says, John Calvin was an attorney, not a theologian. Evangelical Calvinist Baptist historical? Question mark. Maybe you should look outside flawed Protestantism. Exclamation point. Rome is not the East. Exclamation point. Westminster Confession. ... Blah. Exclamation point. You should look into the true church and maybe be healed. Calvin was not trying to begin a new religion. Or Calvin was not trying to begin a new religion. Faith alone? Question mark. Where does it say this in the Bible? In fact, James speaks against this. Faith without works is dead. We choose to work, we choose to repent with the grace of God. No one reformed the church. In response to this, I said, I totally agree. The Eastern Orthodox Church is the one true church. So he said this, and he asked, there's a lot of questions in there for anybody to respond to. You know what, that is a great opportunity for you kind-hearted evangelical Calvinists to respond to. And for most Christians, if you see hostility towards your beliefs or whatever, you try to, I think most Christians try to respond to with being level-headed and with love, because you know you don't just want to start a fight with somebody if they're especially very passionate about their convictions. So let's see how the Calvinists, who are supposedly the real Christians, and we're the pagan idolaters that worship icons and worship ISIS, but we call her Mary, but we really worship ISIS, and we believe, we worship the saints and all this other stuff that they constantly say. Funny thing about this character on here is that he calls it pedo communion. No, children receive communion, infants receive communion. So he believes in infant baptism and infants receiving communion, which is a good thing. I wonder where he got that from. Us. But okay, so I read you the comment of one who comes down. That's the user's name. So DallPro95 responded to, he says, in reply to One Who Comes Down. It's got add one. Dude, seriously, please stop embarrassing yourself with this clueless crap. You have absolutely no idea what you're talking about. I lament that the internet has given people like you a voice and made you think your idiotic ideas are worth a hearing. Now, that was just an insult. That was just totally, I mean, he begins, dude, seriously, please stop embarrassing yourself with this clueless crap. You have absolutely no idea what you're talking about. And he says he has idiotic ideas and basically shouldn't be, he shouldn't be given a voice. But what was really, I could read you my response to him. I said, wow, what, that's really Christian-like, and, I said, wow, you're just like John Calvin. Calvin call anybody names who disagreed with him. But I won't go into what I wrote, needless. Well, One Who Comes Down responded to DallPro95. And he said, you can tell this person's Eastern Orthodox. Not DallPro, but One Who Comes Down. You are a very hurtful in your words. Maybe English isn't the first guy's language. Is this Christ-like? Question mark. I admit I was upset with this man, Doug, because of his attacks against the true church. I am sorry for these attacks. I hope you can forgive me. But to call anyone an idiot and say these things is unchristian and wrong. I lament that the church is split. I lament that most will not choose the true faith. I am sorry for most will go to these churches to listen only to that which they wish to hear rather than absolute truth. Now he's very, he owned up to being, maybe coming off belligerent, and because he was irritated at the guy Doug, this guy Douglas Wilson. But he didn't say any names. I mean, he just stated a bunch of facts and asked a lot of questions. John Calvin was an attorney, not a theologian. Fact. I mean, all he did was ask questions. But he did say, he said maybe you should look outside flawed Protestantism. Maybe that's the only thing that could be imagined as an insult. So now this girl comes along, or guy, MrMe225, and DallPro didn't reply to him at all. DallPro didn't reply to the Orthodox person. I actually apologized to him, but asked him, "Is this Christ-like?" And he says, "Just call anyone." One Who Comes Down is saying to DallPro, but to call anybody an idiot and to say these things is unchristian and wrong. He apologized to him, but he also said, "Wait, what you said to me was wrong," which is good. And he expressly said those were hurtful words, and he asked him, "Is this Christ-like?" Actually, it's the first thing he said. Your words are very hurtful. Is this Christ-like? I admit I was upset with the man. I already read it anyways. So, MrMe255. Check this out. Rather than castigating the previous responder for being, quotation marks, unchristlike, go back and look at his response. All he did was respond to your comments themselves. He did, and I'm not adding this, this is actually how it's written. He did not insult you personally, but he did criticize your comments. I think your apology is in good faith, but in order to understand his response, you have to frame your original post accurately. And it was without substance. His response to you was blunt, but justifiably so. He did not insult you. This was the response that was, should I have to read it again? This was the response that the Calvinist gave to the Eastern Orthodox guy. Dude, seriously, please stop embarrassing yourself with this clueless crap. You have absolutely no idea what you're talking about. I lament that the internet has given people like you a voice and made you think your idiotic ideas are worth a hearing. So the other Calvinist comes along and says, you know, rather than castigating him for being unchristlike. So that was justifiable to talk to not even a Christian, just anybody like that who's asking questions and didn't insult. But the other guy did. He did not insult you personally. Yeah, he called him an idiot. But he did criticize your comments. No, really, he didn't. There was no actual criticism. I mean, where's the criticism of the comments? Dude, seriously, please stop embarrassing yourself with this clueless crap. You have absolutely no idea what you're talking about. I lament that. Where's the criticism? It's all insults. Now I responded to each one of these people because it irritates me. So I didn't plan to make this video, but you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to send this to all three of those people. One who comes down, I think they're Orthodox. They have. I mean, there's no other room. They're Orthodox. I don't know whether they're Oriental or Eastern, but they're Orthodox. I can tell. When they said the East, Rome is not the East, that's dead giveaway. But these other two people, I have a question for DallPro95 and MrMe225, and to Cannon Wired, who has these videos of Douglas Wilson. So my question to DallPro95 is why would you treat somebody like that? You know it's very unchristian. You did not answer a word that he said, any of his questions, and let's face it, the only time faith alone is talked about in the New Testament is in the book of James, and it said faith alone is dead. That's an honest question, and I know Protestants never liked being asked that. Luther wanted to throw the book out, but why couldn't you respond to him? Dude, seriously, this crap. I know Protestants get very angry because they think that, well, you're born Catholic, and then when you read the Bible you become Protestant, and anybody who's a Protestant who becomes a Catholic, that there's no reason for that. Well, we're Eastern Orthodox, so we're something completely different. And one good thing that Douglas Wilson said is that Eastern Orthodoxy is more different than Protestantism is from Calvinism. But the main person who I want to address here is MrMe225. How did DallPro respond to the comments? It's an absolute lie when you said he did not insult you personally. Yeah, he insulted the guy personally. That's all he did. He didn't. How is that justifiable? You say his response to you was blunt, but justifiably so. How so? Please explain it to me. I'm Eastern Orthodox. Please explain this to me. How is that justifiably so? to just go off on somebody like that. You guys are Christians, right? Faith alone. So that means you never need to bear any fruit, right? Because bearing fruit is not in the Bible. Doing unto others as you would want done unto yourself. Somebody asks a question that might challenge your worldview. I don't know. I'm sending this to all of you guys. Peace to you. May God save Serbia. Have a blessed Lent. In your relation to federal vision, I have no idea what federal vision is. It's just one of those Protestant words, I guess. He said the main one was John Calvin. John Calvin being a murdering psychopath. But let's address the comments on here. Okay. So, that I talked about in the video before. When I see people like this, it's interesting to watch these people who I disagree with in almost every way, on almost every topic, and who and is why when I see so many people like this, with all their different views, and I sympathize with atheists completely. I don't know what more I can say, but the comment section even got worse. This is Yusef here, and I wasn't planning on making this video at all, but I have to, because I was watching more of this Douglas Murray character. When I find people like this is the guy that So there's 4 comments on this page, or on this thing, and you can look at it. It's Ask Doug, what theologians have influenced you in